good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I hope you're all very well in this wonderful world that we've been blessed to live in. I have all of one person watching. Blimey, you get one person watching on your way up and on your way down. Let me tell you. So welcome back to that one person. Hopefully more people show up. Oh, there you go. I don't know what happened, but they just doubled. Okay, so either that one person had a baby, or somebody else is watching. There you go. Good evening, everybody. How are you? Good evening, all of us. There's more people in the green room than in the chat. And wait a minute, are the people in the green room also in the chat? That would not be good. Anyway, I guess people watch this on a rerun. Okay, I guess that's how this is going to go down. We're keeping it online for posterity. Who cares? Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. How are you? For me, it is Motzei Shabbos, Motzei Shabbat, Motzash, as the kids say. That means it's the night after the Sabbath. Sabbath has just ended. Us Jews, we do things weird. We basically do things needlessly confusing and detailed. And very, very, very myopic on the details. Like the reason Jews don't have Christmas trees is because the book of laws you'd need about freaking Christmas trees would be about this big then, right? Like how tall can it be? How short can it be? What are the ornaments? Does popcorn count as and seriously, I'm telling you, if you've ever studied Jewish law, this is exactly what it's like. Anyway, I was saying so. I was talking about Jewish law. Why did I talking about that? It's very myopic. Wind it back. Nah, I've lost it, mate. I can't remember. I literally cannot remember what I was talking about. Never mind. For me, it's Motzei Shabbos, as the kids are saying. There you go. It'll come back to me. For me, I've been offline 25 hours. Although the clocks are moving, so now I normally when I was doing the show when it was like at 7. I would sometimes I don't have like half hour, 45 minutes after Sabbath ended. Now I got about an hour and a half, so I'm more acclimated. I caught up. Oh my god, I caught up with my comments. Oh, I was so behind on this. Okay, I've had a busy few days, right? Friday. I have my tickets for No Time to Die. I'll give you a bit of a review of that. Where did I put my phone? Friday, I had my tickets for No Time to Die, 2:15, right? 2:15. I know it's like a 3-hour movie, 2 hours, 45 minutes. And let me tell you, a good 30 minutes too long. They needed an edit. Oh, man. And I get the feeling it's already had quite a significant edit. It was like watching a director's cut. Also, like, really needless things in there. But you know something that wasn't in there? That really needed to be some gratuitous sexuality, right? There was one hot chick in a hot dress, right, doing spy stuff. That was good, right? Bond didn't sleep with anyone, I think, other than like the main love of his life, Dr. Swan. He's the one he ran off. He left MI6 for in was it Spectre? Right, so and they didn't have the chemistry then. So like, bring it back now is it woke? No, it was. Oh boy, was this a woke movie? This was a so woke movie that they, in Hollywood terms, shit themselves when the money men said, "Oh no, we've done the calculations and it does say go woke, go broke," and they went, "Man, I don't want to go broke." Like BBC's doing that right now. They're like, "Oh shit, we're gonna die." They really are. They're totally. They're like, oh man, this is what happens when you tie a lawnmower to your legs and jump in a pond. You're like, oh yeah, I'm fucked, right? And you can kind of feel it, right? So they basically went, I don't want to die. I don't want to die, and they re-edited it, and you can so see. It was designed to hand over to Lashana Lynch, a stunning and brave black woman who kind of looks like a boy, because that's representation. Yeah, it feels a bit more like tokenization, right? But it was totally set up, and you can see this. Oh man, the re-edit, right? There, you know the okay when you watch it, right? And there was what? There's a major spoiler. Avoid spoilers, right? There is one major. I'm not going to tell anybody till next week, right? There's a major spoiler. Essentially, you know, the reviews are saying, it's kind of reheated leftovers. We've seen it all before. Apart from this one spoiler, right, which is what I think they put in there to define it, doesn't really work, in my opinion. I mean, it does add a lot of interesting questions. Didn't really work, in my opinion. It felt tacked on, right? It felt like very like, and now we're just going, let's tack this bit on, right? And it really does feel that way to me. But it feels very heavily re-edited. Not a bad movie. Okay, in terms of Bond movies, better than Quantum of Solace. Well, that's not hard. That was a piece of shit. I mean, I would do a retrospective of the Daniel Craig movies, but, oh, man. I got to watch Quantum of Solace again, and that's like, I don't know. I don't think I can do it, right? I mean, I remember there's some good bits in it. Maybe if I get really, really, really super high, right? Maybe that make all Quantum of Solace work right. I don't know. Probably not. But I did like the whole chase stuff in Milan at the beginning. That was very well filmed. But generally speaking, shit villain, shit Bond movie, and that's Quantum of Solace. But then the Craig stuff bounces back with the genre shattering. And I think wonderful Skyfall, right? Skyfall it's a movie where they do the thing that I hate and they make it work. They deconstructed Bond. They peeled him back in every way to what Bond was at his absolute core. And then he became Bond again, right? It was like the Dark Knight Returns of Bonds. But essentially Casino Royale was like his first mission, and then he did all the other movies, and then he did Skyfall, right? That's basically how they did it, right? They tried like a damaged Bond before in, they tried it a few times in, was it Die Another Day? That was big about that. But yeah, so I really like Skyfall. I was okay with like the 5-year wait till Spectre because I was really confident in what Sam Mendes would do. I was like, look, this was the dream team. You know, I absolutely adored Skyfall. I mean, it just looked beautiful. It was. Now I know I differ strongly from Mega Geek. Who doesn't like things a lot. That's what I'm saying. But he's an awfully good filmmaker, and I think he's got a good, valid, intelligent point of view, right? So he's like, I like James Bond movies when they were fun. I think it's missing something when you don't go, to a secret base in the pyramids, M's there, and all that, like good, like I loved it. Where they'll be like in the middle of nowhere, like a snow-covered place, and they'll go through a secret door, and there'll be M in like the snow base sitting there. Come in, Bond, come in, and there'll be Cuba, and they'll set up this whole major operation, like completely implausibly. And it was funny. It took the piss out of itself. It was tongue-in-cheek. And listen, I feel that's a valid interpretation of Bond, right? I feel this is an equally valid interpretation of Bond. I don't think the Daniel Craig Bonds has betrayed the character of Bond in any way. I think it's represented in a new way. I think it was a reaction to the Bourne movies. I think it's outlived its welcome, right, at this point. But it's a very flabby movie. It's like 2 hours 45 minutes. It should be 2 hours 15. Anyway, but because of that, we could get home before the Sabbath started, right? Because you're not allowed to drive or do any like that sort of stuff on Sabbath. So I got the just into, so like we had like a half hour or like 45 minutes. But then to throw another wrench in the iron, in the machinery, I normally put out 2 to 3 videos on Friday and 2 videos in a stream on Saturday, right? That's my normal output. So I normally record them all on Fridays, obviously, because I won't. If I do 2 real videos, and it's like a 2000 AD review, which I think I'm going to stop doing because they don't get a lot of hits, and quite frankly, it's so bad now. I don't think I can continue reading. And I love Scarlet Tracers, which is the only reason I'm there now. But listen, if you got a shit Judge Dredd, story, you got a shit prog. Okay, that's just the way it goes. If you're not English, you don't know what that means. But if you've got a shit judge shred, you got a shit prog. That dime to a dozen. Anyway, so it's that, but I had to cut it short because tragically, I'll say my friend, right? My friend is an older gentleman. He was 78, passed away, but I would certainly call him my friend, right? He was, and he had a fascinating life, and I have so much respect for this guy. Like, he was a real individualist. I again, a lot of respect for him. He's an author. He was a history teacher, but he was the closest thing to like a Jewy Hell's Angel you could get to, right? He wasn't super religious. Like when I used to run the services on the high holidays, I would always rely on him because he would finish his personal prayer first. Because I spent a long time on that. He's super quick. He's very like, but he's so he's not like, but he was there. He was there for. He would do everything, right? He comes to services 3 times a day. He's there for everything, right? But this guy, he just loved Jews and he loved Israel, right? So his end was very. He said he found out 2 weeks ago. He only had a couple of weeks to live, which I didn't know. I heard on Friday that he passed away, and I was in synagogue. I mean, you heard me like gasp, like, oh, because to me, I only saw him a few weeks ago, right? And he seemed fine, seemed like the normal guy, right? But man, the more I found out about his life, the more I now understand why we clicked as much as we did. Because we basically, so he was like, he loved the JDL, right? The JDL is the Jewish Defense League. That was set up in the 70s by Rabbi Meir Kahana in New York. Because essentially every year you have this holiday called Sukkot, which Jews build this little hut outside their house and you live in it, basically, right? So it was a thing. Oftentimes people would have their sukkah set on fire, normally by one racially profiled group, right? Which, their lives matter, mate. Let me tell you, their lives totally matter. Anyway, so this guy set up this thing called the JDL, the Jewish Defense League, and basically it was for a bunch of Jewish kids to go and smack heads. But they turned up with baseball bats, and it was a rumble, right? Essentially, it was 100% sounds like Rumblefish, right? To me. I'm a pussy. This is not my ball game, okay? I'm not that type of Jew. I'm like can I help you with your taxes type of Jew? Yeah, but there's the other type of Jew, which is like, here, hold my Uzi while I take a leak type of Jew, right? He was that type, okay? He built this synagogue. I didn't realize the thing. He built this synagogue in New York, and like in the rain, physically building it, right? And it's this huge place. And he always wanted to live in Israel. Again, I came in at the end of the story, right? I came in at the absolute end of the story. He always wanted to live in it. He loved Israel. Man, it's like, that's a religious Jewish thing. He had real affinity. He wanted, and he sacrificed a lot to live here, right? And he had to go back to America for 3 years to finish his pension. And he used to write these funky books. People were freaked out by him. And again, I loved him, mate. I got on with him like a house on fire. His friendship really was very, very special. Very special. When the synagogues were closed down because of the pandemic, which they still slightly are, we had these prayer groups on the street, right? So my spot that I inherited, if you're praying on the street, mate, on a regular thing, you got to find flat ground, okay? Let me just this is the advice. Never, because I prayed something on the pavement and it was like, wonky pavement, and my leg was like agony for like a day afterwards. Flat ground all the time, right? So my spot was outside his house. I used to keep my chair there. I had this cardboard like standy thing put my prayer book on. I'm like, that's the kind of guy I am. I like making my space. So anyway, I would always chat with him. You know, it's like we got on. It's he wrote books, and I always I always bought them. They sounded interesting, but there's too dense for me. So what I want to do is I want to ask the family if anybody's got them on the hard drive, if I can reformat them and like repackage them and like just give them to me as like a box set. Because you can do that nowadays easily, right? And I just think I would like to have a copy of that, put on my shelf to remember him by, right? Put a picture of him on the back. He would love it. Man, would he love that? Okay, so he passed away, and it was so sad. I had no idea. The word went round a few days ago to keep this guy within. Again, being Jewish, everything regimented, mate. Right. So we have these specific prayers we say every day, right? And he said, well, within this prayer, have this guy's in mind, so for that he should have a speedy recovery. So I'm like, okay, well, absolutely, of course I will. But you do that for anyone, right? You didn't realize he was on death's door, but then I heard it was pretty bad, like a day ago. I'm like, really? That's terrible. I hope he gets better. And he passed away. I heard on Friday. So it was his funeral was originally at 1:30. I have to leave at 1:30 for the Bond movie. Now, this bloke would want me to go see this Bond movie. So I'm a bit torn. Now, we have a backup. So you have a backup here in Judaism, right? You've got this thing called a shiva. So if you don't make the funeral, you go and visit the family you have up to a week. They don't do anything. They just sit down, you go, and I'm going to go anyway, right? I'm actually going to go anyway. So I could go that. But thankfully, they moved it to 12. So I could go, but I would have felt terrible had I not. Okay, my last real interaction with him was like I was I was in trouble, right? I've been like things are kind of settled, but I got in trouble in my town, and opinion about me was divided. Right, the local rabbi had taken a stance which I felt was insane and would have terrible consequences. Now, whether or not it was insane, it did indeed have terrible consequences, much worse than I possibly foresaw. I was, however, vindicated in every way, shape, and form. I wish him well wherever he is now. Actually, he was at the funeral as well. Then he saw me and he ran. So opinion about me was about he was always very supportive of me, like you want to say, man, because I basically what I did, I said, listen, this position the rabbi's taken, I believe is immoral. I think it's immoral, and I as a functionary of the synagogue, which I was at the time, which I resigned at that point, saying, look, I can't be a party to this. This is wrong. This rabbi had a meltdown like nobody in the world foresaw. I'll tell. Okay, my Christmas show, I'll give you the full story. All right, if you've been on my channel, I give you You've heard snippet. You know stuff that's gone down. I will give you the full story, which is man. Oh man, this is what you want to have your turkey to. Let me tell you. Anyway, so my last interaction was my birthday. In August, and I don't know how he saw it. I saw on Facebook. So he comes over with a beautiful bottle of scotch from me. He says, I just want to let you know we're thinking about you. And I was really low at the time as well. He wrote me a note. I haven't opened the scotch now. I want to frame it, right? I want to frame it. I want to keep it in loose light. It's so precious to me now. So I'm glad. Fortunately, thank you very much. I made it to the James Bond movie and your funeral. I will be visiting your family as they sit shiva. You are dearly missed, genuinely. Oh my God, I'm so sad he's gone. I'm so shocked. It's like, he's a big personality in my life that's gone. It's the second one from the cinema. The first one was this guy called Benny. Oh man, Benny. Could I tell you about Benny? But we need another show to tell you about Benny. Fine. So for me, anyway, that was my Friday. Going into Sabbath. Sabbath was really groovy. Sabbath was very nice. Sabbath, it's really not okay. I always can recommend being offline for 24 hours. It's so good. It's like, oh man, it gives you headspace. But it sucks if you're the only one doing it. It's lovely if everybody's doing it. So that's what your whole town does. right? Everything just goes offline. We go for walks, we go chat, we go say hello to each other. We have the family, we read, we sit, we sleep, we take the piss out of each other. So that was basically, I did a lot of sleeping. Man, I ended up going to bed on Friday by like 9:30 after struggling to stay awake, right? Struggling. I'm like, fine, I'm going to bed. Slept right through to like 6:30ish, right? I get up for like for prayers at 7:50. By 7:30, I like to get there at 7ish, right? Whatever. 7:15. Fine. So I slept right through. I normally sleep for 6 hours maximum a night, but well, I slept right through. Then came home. We had you have this little like meal together called a kiddish. It's like a snack. Very good herring, lots of Jewy fish. Jewish. All your favorite Jewish flavors, from salty to fishy. We had it all, baby. We had crackers, we had the herring, we had egg salad. That was rather good, I have to say. My wife's egg salad, bit of a winner, if I do say so myself. What else we have? Lots of herring, right? White fish salad, lots of fish, lots of herring, bit of cheese, and crackers. That's essentially what it was. So anyway, then we realized a hot plate, which is where we heat our food for lunch, is set to go. Normally set to go on at 10 to heat up lunch. Was set to 12:30. Right? I guess we're eating later, so we ate it to takeout for sure. This meal, it is really funky, like meat pizzas. And in Judaism, you don't mix meat and milk. It was just like shredded meat on like focaccia, cooked together. It's really good, man. I like that. We had a bunch of stuff. Chicken poppers, like everything takeout with it, like corn dogs. Hate to tell you though, my wife's corn dogs vastly superior to this place's corn dogs. I mean, like not even close, right? So with that, by the time we finish, it's 3. I go and have another, and then I go for my main. I was asleep on the couch all morning, catching up on my Doctor Who magazine and a bit of SFX. I go to sleep on the couch. Wait, and I sleep hard, right? My wife's sleeping on me. Everybody just goes to sleep, right? And then after lunch, then I'm like, okay, I now need a nap. I'm going to bed. The daytime in bed nap is the best nap, right? This is why I love the Sabbath. That is the best nap, okay? Best sleep I ever had was when my father was dying. This is a true story. I was up all night, right? I was up all night with him in hospital. I'm like, you can't sleep. It's like, listen, oh my God. It's like the hospital I would not want to die in. Fortunately, he died in a whole other hospital. It was fine. So I was up all night. I get the train to come home. You can't sleep. You're just dazed. After I go to bed in the day, in bed, pajamas in bed, nap, right? Best sleep I had. It's like so deep. Oh, it's a good sleep. Anyway, had a bit of a nap. Got up, took the dog for a walk, came, had a chat, and now I'm here, baby. Now I'm here, but I don't know what the world is. The world has moved on, and yet I have not. So it's a scary time for me. Anything could happen. Anything could be going down, right? Anything could have happened. And really, in this type of world, anything really could have, couldn't it? Really, anything could have. So I need brave men, hardy men of resources, men of valor. When I say men, people. Yeah, I'm not averse to. I'm not averse to anyone. I was going to say, a young lady coming on, or any type of lady. I'm not. If you define, however you define yourself, that's groovy. I think we should all have our own thoughts, right? That's what I'm saying on Saturday. Anyway, where do you find brave men? Brave men who can look into the void and say, "What do you have? I will take it." Where do you find men like that? It's hard to find. Let me tell you. I find them making comic books, right? Have you ever made a comic book? Well, let's say you got a choice. Do you want me to put my fist up your ass, or do you want to make a comic book? The fist up your ass is going to be the less painful choice. Let me tell you, as a man who has successfully made comic books. But you know why you make comic books? Because you freaking love comic books. That's why you make comic books. And I have 2 such gentlemen with me tonight. I am, my nipples are tingling with excitement. okay? I hate to share this with you, okay? But this is just where I am. I can only be honest with you, man. I cannot tell a lie. So my first guest is a bit of a rabbi virgin. Hasn't been here before. Doesn't know the depths that we do sink to, right? We don't know the evil that we doth know. He is fresh out of prison. It's got a rap sheet as long as your arm. I think the last thing he was inside for was dog rapist. And that's just what I'm hearing. I don't know. Might be monkey rapist. Who knows? Listen, everybody has their own thing, baby. I give you a call. Dustin Brunell, how are you, sir?
How's it going, guys? It was dog.
How's it going?
It was dog. That's what it was.
How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good, man. Good. Excited. Super excited.
Very cool. Where are you?
So I'm in the U.S. We're in Tennessee.
Oh, very nice. What's it like there in Tennessee? I mean, okay, on a scale of fucked up, where Washington is the most, and New York and everything's a
man.
Right? Where's Tennessee on that?
We moved from Florida a year ago, so Tennessee is very much more laid back than anywhere ever I've lived.
Oh man, where in Florida were you?
In Jacksonville.
I know Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Big Jewish community there.
Yeah, we, I grew up there, and then we just moved here, like I said, less than a year ago.
All right. But I think your wife's coming in. Do you need to give her a hand?
Oh no, she's fine. I don't know what she's got.
Okay, fine. I don't want to get you in trouble.
No,
okay, fine. Okay, cool.
Going on, but she's okay.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, she's getting the little dude's blanket because he's going down for his nap. So, we live on the mountain, so outside of Nashville. It's about an hour drive from Nashville where we live. So it's I don't know, outside fucking Walmart, man, there's not really much here. You know what I mean? It's a smaller.
You know what? If the apocalypse happens, you want to be where you are.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in a population center.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The name of your book is Greed, is it not?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yep.
Is this your first book, or have you done more? Have you done some before?
My first book was The Listener. I put it out in October last year. Then
I think I heard about that. Right. What was that about? Who did it on there? I think I heard about it.
The Listener was loosely based on my Uncle Les. He was one of the first Native American Green Berets. And when he passed...
I've heard of this book.
I appreciate that.
You must have been on site promoting it. You must have been on...
Man, I was everywhere fucking promoting that book.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I remember hearing it going, that's an interesting... Were you on EVS's channel?
Maybe. I was on a bajillion channels when I first started. I loved everybody. Yeah. I was promoting everybody and pushing everybody because I didn't know my ass from my elbow. So I was literally hey, here's my.
I still do that. I still do that. I'm like, do you want to you have a comic book? Let's have a look. Yeah. That's still me.
I worked with a lot of folks, and I've been blessed to have met a lot of really kind people. So I've gotten to show the book off. But it was, so it's basically about this soldier that inherits the ability to see the dead, and in doing so, not only spirits and stuff like that, but he starts seeing gods, monsters, demons, and what have you. And in our world. Same with Greed, because Greed's in the same world as The Listener.
I like that. I like the whole show.
Yeah. So it's
why not? Why not?
Absolutely. I mean, it's 80 years into the future difference with The Listener and Greed, but whatever. So it's we have what we call the other side. It's a very thin veil that if you can pass through the veil and you get to the other side. I like to joke about my book being the only book where you could see Christ playing chess with Odin. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, listen. You could well be. I mean, probably is the only. Actually, you know what? I think I would have seen that in an Alan Moore book. That sounds like he would have done.
That makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
In the background of a swamp thing. I see
absolutely. Well, I started writing about. I was writing about theology. I was writing about all kinds of. Go ahead.
So I was going to say, anyway, we have not but one, but two guests tonight. I was going to bring in our second guest, who's got this will be his third book, I believe, in the series.
Awesome.
I say this without reservation. If you haven't seen his books, they're fantastic. Absolutely, the best work in see I think one of the most mature works and fun I think artistically accomplished works in CG. Absolutely. I mean, in indie comics, I'm so surprised that some publishing house hasn't picked it up. Because it feels like the sort of book, and it's done by a man. Like, you know how genius somehow strikes evil. You get, like Mozart was a bit of a dick. Well, yeah. What can I say about our next guest? Okay, known for biting the heads off live sheep. I will say no more. Right. He would be in jail, but they can't catch him. It's of course the one, the only Chubb. How are you? I'm supposed to add you to the stream when I say no, Chubb. How are you?
What a build up. Jesus.
How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, Dustin.
It's a pleasure, man. It's all mine.
Oh, very cool.
Oh man, you're in Australia. I forgot.
I'm in England.
Right?
No, I'm in England.
But you're Australian also, man, aren't you? You sound Australian.
South African. Now I sound like a friar.
How are you, sir?
Good. Just busy as crazy. It's just we launched the campaign last Saturday. It's been a week, and you know what it's like. You just can't.
Man, it is kicking it. Your campaign is kicking it, and rightly so. Freaking awesome! Is there a compendium of all? Because I got the digital one, but I really would like to get some print. Do you have a compendium?
A compendium? How do you mean, like a
so you have like all chapters?
Oh, like from the previous.
Okay,
campaign.
let me tell you what I'm waiting for. I want a slightly oversized hardback collection. Okay, that's how I want this book to be presented, and I think it really deserves to be presented in that way. I would back that in a heartbeat. At some point,
yeah. Who knows? It'll hand in the once I get the arc done. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Enough stuff.
And I think I think it'd be an awesome book, right? An omnibus. I really think it'd be an awesome book. Honestly, I'm really surprised you haven't had a publishing house pick you up.
I'm too naughty for a publishing house.
I don't think so. Honestly, no. You know what? I'm of the opinion when something's artistically valid, it doesn't matter, right? And listen, your book's a lot of fun, and it is. It's got an insanely drunk priest with a cricket bat beating the hell out of people. Listen, you don't get better than that. I love that, right? Fantastic art as well. I love it all. But I just feel it's listen, I really like it. I think it's a classy book. I just do. I really would put it up there, but I would love it. I think it's honestly, I think it demands a hardback edition, right? It's just that kind of book. That's just me. I'm not even selling it. I'm trying to get you to do it. That's how bad.
Well, in the meantime, I mean, a lot of people think, oh hell, I didn't back the first campaign. Well, the previous books are on this campaign as well as add-ons. So if anybody,
man, they're freaking awesome. Okay, they are genuinely awesome.
Are they magazine size? That's awesome.
Yes, they are. Cool. They're A4 sizes. So it's this.
Right on.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Thank you. Yeah. People have been saying it doesn't fit into my lung box. But I kind of like that.
Yeah, honestly, as soon as I get my my campaign fulfilled, which is happening right now. By the way, UK fulfillment, I'm using Mixam. Freaking awesome! They've got
a fulfillment plan, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great because you save a bunch because normally you got to ship en masse to your fulfillment center, so you save that like $300-400 right there. And their prices are, I think they're kicking it. They're pretty good.
All right. Okay. I have to think of. Okay. So they just ship it out for you from where you get it printed? Are you getting printed in the UK or is there a mix?
Yeah. But what I'm doing, I was going to do my printing internationally. I'm printing right now in the UK and the US. I'm going to. I was going to print in Canada and Australia, but honestly, the shipping just is from the UK to Canada. is so much better than for the US to Canada, which blows my freaking mind.
Crazy.
But whatever.
Crazy.
It's right, and same to Australia as well. I'm like, okay then. Like, I will go where's cheaper. You know, I'm like,
$58 right now. $58 for me to send 2 books to Australia right now.
That's ridiculous. That's
just 2 books. I'm right now, I can't even ship to them. They won't even allow us to ship to Australia right now because I guess things.
Oh yeah, that's crazy as well. But print in the UK. I'm telling you, low print runs are viable. They are financially very viable, especially black and white. For me, it's really worked out well. Although the cost of printing in the US just doubled in the last 3 months, literally doubled.
Really?
Yeah, my book went from.
We need to talk then. If you're having if it doubled for you, you and I need to have a conversation, and we'll get you situated.
Okay, listen, I'm over. But anyway, when I get my when I get this film, my next big thing is Substack. I really want to get a Substack going.
Oh yeah. Everybody's flocking there now. Yeah,
what's a Substack? I don't even know what that is.
Oh, okay. So Substack is the new place to get digital comics, and there's a different way of getting digital comics. It's not really. It's a whole different ethos. You subscribe to a mailing list, right? Yeah. So basically, you're buying into a writer or a creator.
Okay.
You subscribe, and you just get them digitally, and it's like economical. I mean, like you get like 30 pages, or right now I'm going to start a free one. I got a ton of content, which is all good, right? I can do a good year of free content, and like putting out about 50 pages a month, and easy, and that's as well. I also got prose stuff. I got tons of stuff. Right, for me, it's great. Right, and then what I would love to is set up a monetized one, like you pay one that will pay for the art, and then when I want to do a print version, you do that on Indiegogo. So that's the goal. Well, that would be because then let's see. For me, I don't want to buy a digital comic, but I will subscribe to Jonathan Hickman's Substack.
See,
it's weird, but I will. Right.
It jives though, right? Because it's like you've got this concept where I don't read digital. I sell digital, but I don't read them because the fact that having owned a shop and been around books all my life, I like the feel of the paper. I like the smell of the paper. You know, it's all very therapeutic for me to have a book in my hand. You know, so I love the concept of doing that. But what you just mentioned is very interesting to me. You know, the whole Indiegogo thing is very interesting because I've successfully done, I think we're on 7 Kickstarters now for books over this past year. This is our first Indiegogo, and it's beating my ass. Like it is.
Is it really?
Like, so my last Kickstarter for Babes, Gore, and Dinosaurs issue 1, we were funded in 25 minutes. You know, over $1,000, and we ended up with like a $6,000 something campaign. Indiegogo, we've been on there 2 weeks, and I'm at like $125, and I'm like, I don't understand this at all.
Okay, so it's tribal. That's the answer. It's 100% tribal.
Different
I mean, it's. Here's the thing. I think Indiegogo people would buy you if you're not anti them, but you've got to let them know you're not anti them.
I'm not anti anybody. Right? I will come in and I will hug everybody.
Right. But they think if you're like pro COMICSGATE or whatever, you're anti Kickstarter. It's screwed up, mate. It's fucked up. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's tribal, right? It's 100% tribal.
I want to be that guy that can like go into any like Steve-O in SLC Punk said it so many years ago that he could walk between the tribes, man. And that's exactly how I want to be able to carry out my business because I do this full time.
You're saying everything right. Just get on as many channels as you can saying that.
Hey, man, I'm all for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. FaceTime on Indiegogo channels. And there's lots of them.
Yeah, I got to send you. I was talking to Nita and Meredith about sending you the all my PDFs and shit this evening. We just got BGD just went out for print today. So BGD's out to print now. So that's 3 IPs that I've got running that are ongoing within a year. and we're at like I said, like 7 books out right now. But
right, I mean, look, I have to tell you, I think we right now we're in an exciting part of the industry where it's really evolving in front of us.
For sure.
I think the cross-platform thing is going to work itself out next year, right?
Absolutely.
I just think it'll be like it won't be a thing.
I hope not. I mean, there's a lot of really cool folks. You know what I'm saying? And I've met cool folks that use Indiegogo. I've met cool folks that use Kickstarter. But they all have one thing in common: when they read my books, they want to read the next one. And
there you go.
That's and I can say that confidently now. When I first started, it was like, oh shit, what are people going to think? Are they going to like it? Are they going to dig it? And then all of a sudden, it was like, cool, look. A year into it now, after doing shows, after doing, selling X amount of books and doing this and that, it's like, cool, look, man, people like the shit. Let's get the shit to more people because more and more people are going to enjoy it.
Listen, finding an audience and everything. So anyway, that's why I like, look, if you've got a ton of content, that is the Substack, mate. I love it. So it's like, so the reason it's become a comic space is because it's they just invested a lot of money into it. Essentially, they're throwing tons of money at top tier talent who are like dropping print comics. So they're like dropping top like X-Men and Batman to go run their Substack, and they get to run their own make up their own little world.
Well, man, there's a lot of is that the one that all the guys are leaving DC and going to right now?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
It's wild. Like I'm good with. Like, I love the concept of people being able to reach more people, and PDFs can reach people in other places of the world that physical comics are hard to get. Let's say that you're in a research station or something on some shenanigans ass.
Dude, you have to say that. I'm in Israel. I love digital because of that, right? Absolutely. I am 100% on board of digital. Fine, look, let me get to the chat. Let me throw out some eye candy when I get to the chat because I love my audience. So what we're looking at here is is it going joining thing? It says there you go. Fine. What we have here is a poster. How big is this? Is it? Oh, don't mind the quality for the rip. You're gonna get when you get both my books on the Indiegogo. This is of course. Do you recognize any of these people there, Dustin?
I don't, but I love the dog. That's incredible.
Okay, that's K9. K9 is, of course, from Doctor Who, with the lovely Leela, also from Doctor Who. Wrecker Welsh is from 1 million years BC, a rather poppy movie
so
from the 60s.
I have to be very honest. I heard great things about you in Doctor Who, but I am, as much as I love the Whovian culture, I was never... I never embraced the Whovian culture as a kid because it wasn't one of those things in my lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I love the fan base. They're like the proudest fan base I've ever met in my entire life.
Well, dude, I listen, man. We just love Doctor Who. What can I tell you? We love Doctor Who. Anyway, for sure. In the background is a time machine from H.G. Wells. Do you know why they're all together?
I don't.
Who gives a shit? We don't know either. That doesn't matter whatsoever. And that's the way I roll, baby. That's the way I roll.
I love it.
Let me say it. But then we get 45 minutes in. Let me say it gets to the chat, and then we'll start looking at campaigns. That's the plan. Darren McMahon, this evening, or how you doing, sir? Merck Eddie, how are you? Tracy Thomas, how are you? I hope you're well. Actually, you were in my you were in my prayers for something the other day. I had you written down for something. I can't remember what it was, but I hope it's worked out. But it's in my little book when in the synagogue. Okay, Jonathan Cox, how you doing? Mr. Jekyll and Hyde, how are you? Cam, how are you? What about mate? Oh, what and all? He says, what about? And ahoy to you, sir. We go. Darren M is here. And whizzing through the chat. I think we might be caught up. Jonathan Cox, I've said hello to already. Keely Chow, how are you? And we all have we all love the robot dog. Indeed, we all love the robot dog. Anyway, let me just run you through the extras on my campaign, and then we'll start with yours because this stuff is hitting print this week, right? This way, it would have hit print on Friday, but I had to go to the funeral and watch James Bond. I mean, that's why. That's the only. If you still want to back the campaign, it's in the notes, but. It's I just haven't turned it off because I figure I'm paying for it on Monday. Might as well leave up. Maybe Bubby will buy some more. Who knows? So anyway, you get this poster over here. You also get a series of cards I call For the Male Gaze. For the Male Gaze. A series of, they started as 4. We expanded to 6 cards based on my 12-year-old genre-related masturbatory fantasies. My 12-year-old genre-related masturbatory fantasies still work fine today, right? I was talking about the James Bond movie, right? So the thing missing from James Bond movie, gratuitous sexuality. The title sequence was fine, right? No problem with the title sequence. But you know what's missing from the title sequence? Silhouettes of attractive women doing this, okay? We need more silhouettes of attractive women doing this in the title. If you have a filter they can put it on, it will make it work. This is, of course, when James Bond movies weren't ashamed of a bit of titillation. Keep the British end up. Spy Love Me. Love that one. So that's the first card. These are all, was it 4x6 they get? The ones that's being printed in the US. Number two is Be Like a Bit of Space 1999. If you've never seen it, you see more than most people have. This is Space 1999 by the 12-year-old rabbinic filter, which made everything much better. Listen, if I could sell the 12-year-old rabbinic filter, I would, but I can't. Okay, this just happens automatically. This is just part of me. This is the wonderfulness you get by hanging around with me. This is called from Don't Even Think It's Citizen. It's a Judge Anderson from 2000 AD. Dustin, you read much 2000 AD?
I enjoyed the covers. I collected the covers. I didn't read a lot of the book, but when they started doing the like the Space Monster series and stuff like that, when you had the the mini series in the 2000 AD and whatever, the mini short stories and whatnot. I started.
You're thinking of 2001.
Oh, okay, my fault. Yeah, that's what I got into.
The 2000 AD is the British anthology comic launched in 1977. Been running ever since. It started off as only 2 pages color and everything else black and white. Yeah. It was printed on paper. What was that?
Yeah. I've got a whole stack of them.
Stack of them.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And it self-destructs as paper, right? And it's just been running forever, right? It's like this punk rock sci-fi weekly anthology. The main character is Judge Dredd. This is Judge Anderson. It's in they are fascist cops in a totalitarian future, where the rest of the world's been wiped out, right? There's only a few surviving mega cities. This is Judge Anderson, a side judge who uses mental abilities for justice and law. So that's why this is called Don't Even Think It's Citizen. Don't even think it's Citizen. You got to look. 2000 of these worth reading, mate. You said you're not into Doctor Who. Maybe this will whet your appetite. This is the companion from the 80s, Perry, perfectly bound in a screen-accurate costume. We call this one No Hanky-Panky in the TARDIS. No Hanky-Panky in the TARDIS. That's what the producer, John Nathan Turner, said when he squeezed her into spandex and put her on screen. No Hanky-Panky in the TARDIS, except in my fan fiction. Poor Perry has been trapped forever, like in the Phantom Zone in my spank bank. She will never get out, okay? She wandered on screen, as I said, squeezed into spandex, exactly the moment my puberty exploded, and may I say exploded in a 1 or 2 warm gusms of pleasure, right? Many times over. So, it took me by surprise, let me tell you. But I definitely developed a stronger love for Doctor Who at the time. So there you go. So most people didn't like it. I was like, what's wrong with you? This is the greatest Doctor Who ever. We didn't get Star Trek Next Generation when it first came out. We have to take a walk to the local video shop and rent the videos as they came out. But from the very beginning, my eye was caught with Councillor Troy. Oh my, it's Councillor Troy. I'm sensing strong emotions, Captain. You're sensing them mainly from my pants. Let me tell you, they're right there. I don't know why she's taking her clothes off on the bridge. Maybe the environmental controls went out of whack. Maybe this is just a wonderful alternate universe. I don't know what to tell you, but let's see. This car can be yours, so just you can go and buy it right now. And of course, don't forget the one. This is the one I just added on because I just love the fans so much, right? Yeah, I love the audience, the backers. The force is female. The force is female, and may I just say, the force is just so incredibly female. I mean, like. Dominic Racho on the art here, just really, I would say, nailing it. And Princess Leia, she looks so happy. She looks so relaxed and clear-eyed. Oh, I don't have to think about X-Wing allocations today. I don't have to, think about trade negotiations. I just have to relax and be Jabba's love slave. You see? And Jabba's like, this looks good. This looks pretty good. Bib Fortuna, not that interested. No, not for him, mate. But Sire C. Crumb. Oh, that's going to get crazy, baby. That's going to get crazy. The force is female. Okay, I can't wait to see this. You also get, I'm throwing in more posters, right? Because why not? You get this Doctor Who poster, A Bohemian Time and Space. And this one, The Eyes Have It. If you already bought posters, bought these posters, I'm throwing in other posters. We have this one, Great Balls of Fire, and finally this one, Forever Young. Imagine the fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith growing old together in the TARDIS. And just a quick look at the books that you get when you get these. We have the Imperium, 124 pages long, art by Dominic Racho. I wrote this one. A love letter to Telefans in the 1960s. Imagine James Bond, Emma Peel, Doctor Who, the Black Stuff from 2001, and a monkey in a spacesuit, all working together in one incredible super group. We also get a good backup strip by Stefano Cardacelli and myself. The Ice Warriors added like 8 pages into that, added 5 pages into the main strip. You get the script, you get everything. This is you get all Dominic's sketches. This is I would say a pucker package, mate, a pucker package. And finally, my Opus Opus Magnus, I think Magnus Opus. That's what my Magnus Opus, biblical Bible source, Aether Grace of Rationalist Rogues, the Holy and the Dead. This is 240 pages long. Fiercely biblically accurate, not preaching the slightest. So the things that you recognize, like Tower of Babel, the Flood, Ark, Jonah, but it's all going to be looked at hopefully in a way that you haven't thought of before. But it is insanely biblically accurate. I wrote and drew this one. You get the full script. Do you get script? No, you get the commentary in this one. I think it's like one of those early Vertigo books. That's the vibe I'm going for. So there you go. It's up until I close it on Sunday, I guess. We're not going to pay for it. Go grab it right now. Very good. Okay, fine. Who's going to? Oh no, Chubb. I should throw your campaign as it's right there right now. Dustin, do you know how to share a screen?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes. Very good. So if you want to go ahead and you got a new. Oh man, you got a new movie there. That's good.
It's a video. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, turn the sound up. Turn the sound up and wind it back, I should say.
I smell sinners and I swear I'm running out of cheeks. Father, forgive me, but my tolerance is getting weak. Should I flatten them out or should I take a shot? Bottoms up before I pile up some body parts. The devil's in the bottle, so I guzzle from a glass. With every sip, I'm feeling taking out the city's trash. A fitting job for a quarter rowdy dumps and babies. We cheat to death, it's only fair that we replenish Hades. Or we could pray to repent and let God sort them. I'd rather live and confess and go to war on them.
I'm loving the color.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like somebody told me, do a hip hop, like a hip hop trailer of your stuff. I'm like, I don't like hip hop. But then there's this guy, Mark Mironelli. He's 6 a.m. Comics, and he did the CG Royal Rumble. Does music too, and I asked him to do it. He did like a rap review of my first comic, and
very
it was just
cool.
like yeah, and it came out. I thought it came out really well.
So, do you want to throw up your campaign? There you go. One step ahead of us.
So let's see. Yeah, we're up to almost. Well, I can see the pounds. Yeah, you guys can see the pounds. I guess it's just crossed $8,000
There you go. In a week, I'll tell you, this is like double what you made in your last one, right?
Yeah, it's picked up a lot. I think we
Yeah,
the
this
previous
is,
one was about £7,000, and we're almost there. So it's going to do better, hopefully.
Well, listen, I mean, this is a great 72 pages. It's a really great package.
Yeah, I thought everybody was telling me the last one's too short. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do 4 stories, 72 pages. So 4 self-contained stories, but it gives you more an idea of the boys in their world, and it's all geared towards entertainment. You know, it's like slice of life sort of stuff. One is like some of our stories are more introverted, more eclectic, and the others are just high octane action and absurdity.
I have to tell you, you know, you're one of those creators that you could really go ahead and do anything, and I'm interested in it. Yeah, because here's the thing: when you're actually genuinely a creative person, coming up with new ideas isn't that big a deal. It's like what you do, right? So, like, you doing something new I haven't seen before doesn't I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's the kind of thing I'm up for.
Well, thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, it's a bit of an oddball for a lot of people, because the concept is a bit great. So I always tell them, well, it's basically the English version of the Teenage Mutant Knights Templar. English of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There are 4 teenage.
Yeah, it was way more subversive. Oh man, it's like a punk rock Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's so man. It's for me, it's more like, I don't know. This is exactly what. Do you remember when they started doing? What was it? Penguin or whoever it was started trying to do comic books. They did this book with Alan Moore and Oscar Zafrotti or something. A Small Killing. They did a few of them, right? But, so this book you're doing here, right, is exactly what they wanted to do, but they can't even miss the mark completely, right? This is exactly what because it's got like that, you know, that cartoonish playfulness, right? With like really dark, hard-hitting subject matter. You know, it's just like it just works so well together.
It's like an America Werewolf in London. The horror and the comedy. The more horrific you make it, the more comedy you have to apply to it, so that you.
I think it's the juxtaposition of the art with the subject matter. Yeah. And also the art's really good. It's really subversive. I mean, everything about it is subversive. This feels like a cartoonist who didn't have enough expression, going and doing a deeper work. Right? This is exactly what it feels like. You know, somebody got bored with doing the one panel thing and said, "Look, I got to do more than that," and this is it. I don't know if you went through that first phase, but this is really. I really like it.
I think it's because of my influences. I'm really into old Mad Magazine, EC Comics.
Yes, you can see that.
AD stuff, and they in turn were also influenced by those guys, the American comics of that era. So
yeah, I was going to say the thing that really pisses me off about entertainment today is that everybody just wants to do something like I want to do Doctor Who, I want to do James Bond, I want to take over a franchise and remake it, and like nobody wants to make something new. Nobody wants to take the influences of Indiana Jones and go ahead and make their own thing. Nobody wants to say like, Doc Savage and Republic Serials made this. I want to do my take on what influenced me as a kid and do it. Nobody wants to do that. They're so freaking terrified, and they're always like hiding behind somebody else's IP. This is exactly what you're saying. You're taking your influences and you're making something new. Yeah, and it's man. The only place you see it is in indie comics. It's crazy. I don't understand, but it's the only place you freaking see it. It's crazy.
It's like you can do what you want. I mean, my starting point was just come up with stuff I actually wanted to draw. So it wouldn't be such a pain in the ass drawing it over and over and over and over again. So I love Gothic architecture, as you can tell.
Right.
With the previous comics and this, so it's like an excuse to do that. It was a bit of a.
Oh, you know what book this reminds me of? I finally realized it. Cerebus the Aardvark.
Yes, big fan of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's got that same. Yeah, it's got that same again. I would say irreverence mixed with deep artistic quality, right? I would say that's both of the things put together.
Yeah, it's kind of I see it as it's. I don't know. I don't describe on the surface it's quite lowbrow, but then I do throw in the touchy-feely stuff further on down.
But I mean, yeah, no, that I mean, that's what I like about it. On the surface, it is lowbrow, but it's like you've got to, if you look a little bit deeper, you know, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like Inglourious Basterds, right? Inglourious Basterds seemed like a ridiculous movie, being ridiculous, generally speaking. But then when you thought about it, it was actually, I think, making quite a reasonably deep commentary on the nature of intelligence in the world, right? How it changed. Went from one thing to another, and how the power balance changed. But it was done in the shell of something very schlocky, and it really wasn't, right? I think that's where you are here.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you go in with this high concept stuff, people aren't gonna, I think the best sort of ideas are the ones you can summarize in a sentence, and then it can flower out to something else if you want to sell it to somebody. Mine's
right.
See,
yeah, if you can do that,
that's the only thing that like that's cool. I'm that guy that wishes I could write like that. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I could give you a, like that book, you can pick it up and put it down. You know what I mean? Like, you enjoyed that. I can't write a short story to save my life. You know what I mean? There's certain things that I wish I could do, and I'm not great at,
Oh, man, that's a great discipline. Right. Okay. So a really good way that a lot of people got homed, again, in 2000 AD, is by doing 3 to 5 page self-contained stories with a twist in them. Like you get used to knocking those out. Do an anthology of those. You just improve as a writer.
Aftershocks one with Alan Moore, very, very good.
Oh, Alan Moore,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I do a bunch of I've done a bunch of 1-page strips, which is, and again, you got to have a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And you got to have a good artist you're working with, obviously. But that's just a really good discipline. Yeah, I would say, listen, man, go ahead and try and do a bunch of them.
Right on. It could be a lot of fun to do it. I just find that when I sit down, it's literally like, where are my characters going? What is this character? What is the background on the dude in the background? You know what I mean? What's going to go on with him? And I don't know. I enjoy writing almost novellas.
I normally start. My starting point is what do I want to say? What do I want to tell a story about? Right. That's normally my first. Like what's bothering me? What do I want to say? Right. And then and that's where whatever the story comes from. That's always the start. So once you do, if you come at from that angle, and look, everyone's got their own process. But once you come at from that angle, you can really, when you're not looking at it from character, but you're looking at it from idea. You can bash stuff out much easier.
Well, in a short story, you don't have time to get it. You don't have time to build character.
Right.
You don't have time for that denouement. You don't have time for that whole transformation. So, short stories, I think, tend to be more focused on plot than a long
for sure
hero's journey or hero's downfall type of trope.
Right on.
And that's that.
Well, I mean, it's not that they're not, like, to me, it's not like it's not interesting. It's just I have this. It's like when I put the paper down, it's literally like go. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally like run. How far are we running? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all my IPs are ongoing. You know what I mean? I enjoy the big character development, the large overarching. But some of the greatest things I've read were 2 and 3 pages.
When you write, do you thumbnail as you go? Is it like do you start with a script? How what's your process?
So when I start, like, because I don't do my art, you know what I mean? I have teams for each of my IPs, but generally speaking, I'll do a full issue, like a whole issue, 24 pages. I'll knock out 24 pages, and then I'll go in and I'll break down pages to panel, and then I'll go to the artist with pages to panel and be like, hey, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the panels? So on and so forth. Should we break them down differently? Should we lay them out differently? And then I give the artist the option to lay it out how they would like to lay it out, as long as we're getting across what we want to see. You know what I mean? But BGD is very different. A buddy of ours was like, hey, try it like this. So with BGD, we wrote the entire book with no dialogue whatsoever. And then we had the artists go in and do all the pages, and then we did dialogue after we received the completed pages. Because it was like, hey, look at their expressions. Look how they're acting. You laid this down, but you can see it now. It's like physically in front of you. How are they acting? How do they, the perceptions of the characters and whatnot. And I found that very interesting. That's something new that we're doing with this series, going and doing it like that.
I normally do a re-edit on the text. I do all the lettering myself on all my books.
Right.
And I really want to start making enough money. I can hire somebody else to do that. Right. That's where I really want to get to. But having said that, I don't want to I find that level of edit really useful, right? Because even when I'm doing the art myself, right? Because they just like, once something's realized in front of you, you're like, it's maybe I want to do like, for example, I just changed the text on the last 2 pages of my book, Biblical, and it works so much better. It's always bugged me, and it works so much better now, so I'm really happy about that. But like, I can't remember where I started with this. Okay, but there you go. Chubb, do you want to show some more of the art? We've been static for a while.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a big, just on the art, I'm a big fan of Will Eisner, Jack Davis, Wally Wood. So you see a bit of that.
Right.
In this book, I've gone back to his New York and everything, and I've tried to adapt some of his techniques.
I love the lettering built into the strip. Okay, it's kind of just a few things I love. I love the lettering built in the strip. I love the religious iconography. Man, this is great. Do you do this digitally, or do you do this by hand?
No, it's all by hand. It's all ink
Beautiful.
and ink wash.
For sure.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Man, I'd love to how big are the pages?
The A3 originally.
I'd love to. You know what? Okay, now what I would like is a book launch with hardback with everything. At the same time, you have like a gallery display. I'd love to see this work.
It's awesome.
Gorgeous.
Oh, thanks, man.
For sure.
Yeah, it's it goes back to just my influences. I just love putting those. You can totally see that I'm just a bit of an Eisner, and to me, that's still like, I don't know. Everybody's different. Like with the whole.
Honestly, I think you're more. I can see your influences, but I think you're very unique as well. I think you're your own person.
I think I see it as it's got. I don't know, the 2000 AD thing. It's just I can't shake the punk thing. It's got to have like a lot.
It's got that definitely. But I think the artwork's also matured a lot from your earlier volumes. It seems a little bit more. It seems more subtle in places. What do you think?
I love your line work. I mean, I absolutely love the line work. I mean, there's a lot of times when you see people that go in, like now I see more never, when you go and it's all, by hand and not digital, it's very easy to see anywhere you made an error, right? Like it's so easy to see. And the pages are really clean, man. Kudos to you. They're really good looking.
Yeah, like, that's what the reason I only work digitally. I just can't pull it off traditionally.
I used to work digitally, but I found one of the big reasons I stopped was just I was because I go to work in front of a computer. I listen to music. I just never get away from a screen.
Right on.
So it was. I just had to break away from that. I just wanted.
All right. Listen. It. If I could do it, I probably would. But there you go.
I think to me it's easier than actually doing things digitally.
That's awesome.
Honest. And if you make a mistake, you just have to run with it somehow and say, "Oh, I meant to do that." Sort of happy accident sort of thing.
What's this? Is it a patch?
Yeah, I always do because it's got this punk sort of theme to it. On the last campaign, I did a embroidered patch of the logo, and this time I thought, well, I want to do that again. So it's the same. It's the lyrics to the theme song, lager, 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 stomping, and Tisk is the beer they drink, the brand. So I
I
thought,
dig it.
yeah,
Really cool.
thank you. That's an add-on on the campaign. So if you buy the book, then you just pick this from the add-ons list. There's a lot of stuff on here. This next item, because on the previous campaign I did a making of Merry Boys, which just had a bunch of preparatory sketches and just a little bit of
All right. That was cool. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, people enjoyed that, so I thought, you know what, let's just do it for this book, because also it's just a bunch of thumbnails, character sketches, some notes for some of our American readers, because they want to know, so what's the significance of this, because there are a few, there's a lot of stuff that's strictly speaking British, and they're not going to get it all right off the bat.
Sure, dialogue can be a difficult bridge at the same time, from what I've seen, you know what I'm saying, because we do a lot of sales in the UK, we do a lot of sales in Australia, and but dialogue is different. The US is the worst, right? We have a million different things for one word, you know what I mean? So we definitely try to lay it out in a way that it's understandable, just by writing it. Like I'm fighting that right now, where I'm going, hey, I'm writing in a different language in BGD in certain situations, but I'm trying not to have to put down a translation. Like we're putting it down in a way so you should be able to read it and understand it. If you don't, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Because the page layouts are done in a way that you should be able to enjoy and understand what's happening on my pages without me writing words. You know what I mean? That's just a personal thing that I'm learning to attempt to do anyway.
That in itself is like an art form. I think of A Clockwork Orange, the novel, when they're speaking in Nadsat, the made up mixture of Russian and English, and you don't understand in the beginning, then it just, the context dictates everything, and then by the end, I'd say not the end, but you get into it quite quickly and you figure it out, and but that's also a way of writing it.
Right.
That's also a skill on its own. I also want to, but you're absolutely right. You don't want to alienate your reader. You don't want them to say, "Oh, this is such a chore to read," and just put it down. If it's so difficult to decipher that it takes them out of the story, then you've
yeah. I respect adding translations, and I think Old English and British and stuff like that is very interesting to write, you know what I mean? Because I'll never catch it correctly, so I don't write in it, you know what I mean? Because it'll be like, oh shit, I've broke something, So for us to try to write in Spanglish was a very interesting thing, because you're like, oh well, I don't want to break that either, we want to make sure that we give across what we're trying to get across.
What's this? What's this next thing beneath this?
This is the print set. I did this, kind of enlarged this, but it's it's the two virgin covers. So it's the cover. These are A3 in size. So it's about, I think, 8 by 11 inches.
Very nice.
Each of these in full color, and the two wraparound covers without any logos or anything like that. And this one is one I did specifically. It's of Father Parish riding a pig because he's trying to his face. I just I don't know. I thought it needed, because I did it on the previous campaign. I did a print set. So
it's nice. No, it's a nice addition.
And I like, the other thing is, because I'm such a stickler for the old comics, I did it in the Dr. Phil Martin's inks. It's like this basic, what do they call it? Archival inks that they used to use in the illustration back in the. They've all ditched it, but I managed to track down a set, and it's like watercolor, but you can paint over it, so you can layer it, and it's cool. It's awesome. Yeah,
Okay, that's far more work than I'd ever do. Okay, you can back this campaign just for that. Okay, I laud your effort with that.
And of course the old comics are here too, because I've got boxes full of them. I overprinted on the previous campaign because economies of scale. It makes sense.
No, mate, doesn't it? Listen, having stock never hurts you.
No.
Right, no, that's not true. Having too much stock can bankrupt you. Hopefully not in this case. let me rephrase that. I take that back.
But a lot of people, we've sold quite a few of these sets. So that's
All right.
I guess it was a good call. Oh yes, let me just go back a bit, back to this part. So this is the variant cover. This is the cover number 2, and that's been
Is that a wraparound cover?
Yeah, they're both wraparounds.
Very cool.
That's
dig
the
that.
main one, and that's the wraparound.
That's really cool, man.
Thank you. And we've got a stretch goal. So as soon as we hit £10,000 or 13,700 USD, then everybody will get a patch, not a patch, a sticker of the Mary Boys emblem. Did a little while
Very
back.
cool.
Right on.
A bit of an incentive there. Yeah, so
Sure.
that's my thing. And yeah, okay, it's just 3 tiers actually. It's a bit. It's
Okay,
really
I was going to
simple.
say let's go through the tiers.
Yeah, so it's just the regular 72-page book. Well, it's going to be 74 pages with padding order, but 72 pages of comic, and yeah, so it'll be 74 pages. Might be slightly longer than that. So that's the normal cover, and each of these tiers you can order the add-ons when you go to checkout. But so it's just the three basic ones is just regular cover, variant cover, and then I've got one which gives you all the new, if you like a previous backer, this is probably a good one. It gives you all the new stuff at a discounted rate if you were to as compared to if you had to go and pick the add-ons individually.
Right, and listen, the £60 let you get a ton with it. Right, you basically get everything with it. This is your Mary Boy starter set. Honestly, you're out of the other campaign patches, though, aren't you? You only get this campaign patch.
I've got 10 left of the old patches, and
I think I've sold
about 6.
Listen, get in there quick, okay? Then you can get everything now. Okay, I will get in there quick. Honestly, £60 for all this. You get how many pages of entertainment do you get? 72 plus how many in the other books? They're big books.
Yeah. So okay, this hasn't got the old comics. So it's got both.
Oh, I thought it did. My mistake. Okay, I take it back.
Yeah, it's just everything over here. So it's the regular cover, variant cover, the new patch, Beefhead's companion, and it's got the three print art set.
Okay. So honestly, I genuinely think this would be a. I just don't see how this is ever going to be lost in time, right? I do think it's going to get bigger somehow. I think someone's going to pick it up. I really do. This could be worth probably more than $60 in the future. I don't gamble on stock market. What's the name? Results may vary, but I think you might be in luck on this one.
The UK market is huge right now. The UK market, the Australian market is massive. We're getting to the point where people realize that you can get books from other countries and not to the US. You know what I mean?
The market's been shattered. It's totally thumbs up.
Yeah.
Let's give Dustin a chance.
Oh man, that's a tough act to follow, dude. I don't. Let's see. Hold on. Let me.
Wait. Oh yeah, here it is. I was just looking for your campaign desperately. 1 second. Add to stream. Very good. Well, you didn't go for a big finish, but okay, never mind. We're fine. I was like, wait a minute, we're out of yours really quickly. What happened? Fine, no problem. So listen, this one I know nothing about, right? The last campaign I knew a lot about. I saw the look of it. It looks a lot of fun. Tell me about it. What is this?
Greed is the offshoot of the listener. It's about a 10-year-old kid that meets his monster under the bed, and his monster under the bed.
I love it already. Okay, yes, great start.
Yeah, if we harken back to if you were a fan of Howie Mandel's Little Monsters movie with Fred Savage,
Oh, I know, yeah.
Yeah, if it was an adult version of that book or that movie, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'll give you an idea real quick. We'll pop the video out. It's a lot of fun. This poor 10-year-old kid getting advised by a demon instead of an angel. So a lot of fun with it right now, guys. Here we go.
Great trailer.
Thank you. Meredith killed this trailer.
Oh, she made it. It's a great trailer. should get to do a trailer for my Substack.
For sure.
Ooh, I like the music.
Yeah, so it is a lot of, gods, monsters, and demons, like I mentioned before. This monster under the bed ends up luring this young kid into this war in the other side, which is a place where all religions exist in my world. I'm not trying to preach to anybody or anything like that, but it's as true to the texts as I could keep them to make sense in the world we've created.
Okay.
So
who's doing the art? Do you have the same colorist, and who's doing the artwork?
So our colorist is David Acampo. He works on Greed as well as BGD for me, and he does promo art. He does cover art, all kinds of stuff for us.
I've worked with David Acampo, actually.
Great guy.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Super good dude. These are 2 interior pages. This is actually the very first page, and this is a couple pages in where Cade is actually meeting Oz for the first time, and Oz is like, holy crap, why is there a monster in my bedroom? At 10 years old, we're very inquisitive, so I wanted to bring that to light, how interesting things can be at that age.
Right.
It's like almost like Fusili, the nightmare, the lady with the imp on her chest.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a resemblance there. Is that intentional?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things that we did in small ways to try to hearken to different beliefs and different poems, you know what I mean, to get people to vibe with it. Like I said, it started as Native American fairy tales and folk tales and stuff like that, but we wanted to broaden what we were putting out to other groups of people so they could feel involved and see how interesting it was if all of them existed.
Cool.
Yeah, and then we introduced the Minotaur in book 1. It was fun too, because you're talking about a kid that has no idea what's going on, why this is happening. And we go up a little bit more, you'll see like regular colors, right? Backgrounds and whatnot like that. But when we go to the other side, when they actually step through the veil, everything has these blues and grays and blacks and whatnot for the background, with our characters being in color.
Cool. So, how many pages is this?
All our books are 24-page full color.
Very cool. So, let me ask you, how did you get into the funny books? Like, how did you start reading comics? What's your journey here?
Holy cow. So as a kid, I lived in Virginia, in Chesapeake, and we lived on a farm, and I really didn't have any friends or anything like that as a young kid. And I would work with my grandfather and my mom and dad and stuff. And once a month, my grandfather would take me to the local gas station, and they had a spinner rack. And here, let me drop this down real quick. But when on the spinner rack, they never had issue 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd go back every other month, and there'd be, all kinds of different stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I never got, consecutive issues or anything. But that started the interest.
Everybody loves a spinner rack, baby.
Man,
definitely.
You'd go get your book, and you'd get a slushie if you made enough money for that month, and then you'd go upstairs and you'd read the book till it fell apart. And when I left Jacksonville Electric, we opened a brick and mortar, my wife and I, and we had fun with that for a little bit. And then it was like, man, my mom and dad are getting older. We moved up to Tennessee to be closer to them. My uncle died. And when my uncle died, it was like, holy cow, what do? I wrote a eulogy. And Bud Root, I don't know if you guys know who Bud Root is, but Bud Root reached out to me. He does Cave Woman. He's been doing Cave Woman for 20-something years.
Oh, fine. I know, yeah.
He's a great dude. And a bunch of other people reached out to me. And I met a lot of cool folks having owned a shop and dealing with people and stuff. And they all reached out and they're like, "Hey man, you should write a comic. You know, you've been in this industry for a while now. You should really get into it." And I was like, "I don't know. And I found myself slipping into this just depression, you know, and I cut off everything for about a month, and I just sat and I wrote for a good month, and that the listener came out of that. And after the
Cool.
listener,
That sounds very cathartic.
we got Greed. Yeah. But yeah, then we got into Greed, and it's been comic book go since. You know what I mean?
Oh, cool.
Let me pop that back up real quick.
It's like
So
people
wait,
will help you
wait.
get off drugs, but people will not help you rehabilitate you from comic books. It's fine.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just as bad.
For sure. I agree 100%. You know, it was just, you know, it got to be this super cathartic thing for me. And then, you know, world building, you know, it literally got to be so much world building and just an epic experience.
So when did you do Greed?
Yep. Greed.
Oh, sorry, not Greed. I mean, Listener. So when basically Listener was the start as well. When how long ago was that?
The Listener was October last year.
Oh, good. This is reasonably recent then.
Yep. So we just put out book 3. I don't know, 2 months ago. So people are just getting now. Book 3 just started arriving in people's homes. I don't know, within the past 2 weeks.
Here? I should be sharing a screen. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah. So the Listener just started showing up, you know, at people's houses, and then BGD is at the printer now, but Greed came out in between issue 2 and 3 of the Listener.
Cool. So listen, you got a ton. Was it a ton of? Oh yeah, right. The tiers. You have a ton of stuff here. Do you want to like go through this and like?
Oh yeah.
Help.
So,
like help me work it out. I'm confused.
Yeah. No. Tier wise, we do the PDFs, right? We do the $5 PDF, which has all the first book in it from Greed, and then we've got the Listener PDF pack, which is books 1, 2, and 3. And then we get down into the physical copies for $15 a piece.
Right.
That's a piece. And so Manny did a cool one. We did an homage for the Hulk, which we thought was really, really fun. Because at the heart of it, even though it's an adult book, this is still the main character is still a 10-year-old kid. You know what I mean? So we have to embrace how a child.
Listen, look, this book looks like a fun book, right? It looks like I mean, it doesn't look like it's. I mean, it's got genuine subject matter, right? But it feels like more of a breeze. It feels like fun. That's the word I'm looking. It feels like more fun.
Right, for sure. So when this book came out, my wife called it the "Let Your Hair Down" book for me.
Ah, there you go. Much better description than mine. Well done. Thank you to your wife.
It was the "Let Your Hair Down" book. We got a T-shirt and a couple other cool things, retail packs, and the smorgasbord, which has all the covers in it, and the T-shirt, plus the wraparound Mortal Kombat variant, which was a lot of fun. The homage variant to that, but it is as surreal and heavy as the Listener is. Greed is like that same world with a little bit lighter tone. You know what I mean? It's a very the very first issue was a lot of fun, us getting to learn to meet these two characters and stuff like that. But then we get real dark starting in book 2, which comes out October 12th on Kickstarter. And we're going further and further into that realm of holy cow, there's gods, demons, monsters, you know, the 7 deadly sins, the 4 horsemen, stuff like that.
I mean, honestly, I do like this whole like collection of stuff that you've melted together. It sounds like a lot. Yeah, it sounds interesting, thought-provoking, and fun.
Absolutely. I would hope that, you know, it's intriguing to me. You know what I mean? When people pick it up and they get to see it, it's very, you know, brightly colored. It's, you know, this interesting story to people, because theology is very interesting. A lot of times we look at theology and it's just preachy. You know what I mean? People are trying to preach to us about everything.
Absolutely. Yes, you're 100% correct.
But I'm not interested in that. I have zero interest whatsoever in that, because in this world, you're going to cross over with the Listener book as well. You know what I mean? You're going to get to see these characters in a different light and different viewpoints in time and in existence, because we've created a demigod in the Listener, you know, and he's around, So where is he at in greed? You know what I mean? Why are these things happening? Why isn't he preventing them from happening? What happens when, Odin decides that, he's going to do this or that and change things in the world if Christ doesn't agree with what's going on? How does that come out? How does that play out? You know what I mean? How does it play out?
It sounds like there's like somewhere was it celestial politics playing out?
Absolutely, because you've got like right now we joke about Lucifer because we're introducing Lilith in book 2, and Lilith is a great character. I mean, the queen of horrors, right? She's everybody's favorite. So this particular issue, though, it's like we have Lucifer, and then we have Hades in our book. We have Helheim, and then we have Hell in our book. They both share control over this realm. So what happens when Lucifer's chick starts fooling around with Hades? You know what I mean? She gets kicked out of hell, and now we're finding out in book 2 what she's doing in our small town, who she considers herself to be now without his backing and whatnot. So it's very interesting. I enjoy baby bird feeding information. You know what I mean? Because nobody wants a mouthful of theology. So we're getting a little bit, a little bit at a time. What is she doing here? Lilith is our Eric Northman. You know what I mean? She's a great character. She's trying to protect her own little piece of land, her own little area and whatnot. So
let me ask you, why did you settle on the title Greed?
Do what now? I'm sorry?
Why did you settle on the title of Greed for this book?
Greed is an easy giveaway on accident. Okay. You know what I'm saying? The title is an easy, if you read the book, the title is, I was like, man, are we giving too much with the title? Are we doing too much with the title? And I was like, no, just play it out. Right. So it's got this, like I mentioned, we have the 7 deadly sins and we also have the 4 horsemen, this little green shit shows up out of nowhere in this kid's house and is literally like, hey, can you hide me from the shit that's come out of the wall? You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's basically like there's a story within a story within a story because that's how I write. You know what I mean? I enjoy, not so Stephen King where it takes me 5 pages to tell you what the grass looks like. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I like world building. I like these large combined events, so the listener, being a tie-in with Greed, he's after the sins later on, X amount of issues into the listener, so where is he at in Greed? You know what I mean? All these little nuances. And with the title, it was like, I couldn't think of anything as profound as the listener at the time. Because the listener is basically me and my wife listening to my uncle tell us stories before he died. That's where the title came from. You know what I mean? A lot of the tales were stuff that he literally talked about that we just spruced up for a comic book. So when it came to do Greed, I was like, man, a little green dude that's really shitty. Where we've got the 7 deadly sins in the book. People will read between the lines and figure out what's going on in the book. You know what I mean? They'll understand what's happening. Like I said, it's all about baby feeding knowledge, just the little bit here and there, and Greed, and it meshed with the color, the green color itself for our character Cade. I thought that was a lot of fun. So if we bring in these nuances and we start building this story at the very base of it, it starts at the title. You know what I mean? So we're going with the title. If people are interested in the title, they'll pick it up. You know what I mean? Just a title.
It's a good title. I say, it's a good title. It's a good-looking book. Link is in the chat and the video notes. Gentlemen, is there anything else we either of you would like to add before we wrap up? I think we covered everything, right? I really do. I think we've run the gambit tonight. Have you guys seen the new James Bond movie yet?
I was going to ask you: Is it if they really got him riding bitch on a scooter?
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't feel that way, right? Yeah, they do. But it's really it's more that he's self-confident enough to do that. Is the way they play it.
That's always the excuse.
Listen, they've had the woke shit edited out of this like crazy. You can see it's there. You can see they shot it. Here. Do you want to blow your mind for a second? I have to. If I find this, if I got Mission Impossible 2 on my hard drive, which I think I do somewhere. This is like that you've probably never seen before. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once I just go through my hard drive, it is. Let's try over this one. Okay, I got a thing called Movies HD. I got a folder called Spy Time. There we go. Do I have Mission Impossible 2 on this? No, I don't. Okay, fine. You find Mission Impossible 2. In the beginning. There's this old guy. There's an old guy on a plane on it, right? Who is talking to Tom Cruise. You can see the old guy on the plane is Tom Cruise in makeup. Once you see it, because there must be a whole plot they cut out, right? The whole thing they cut out massively, and you didn't realize because they cut it out. Same thing here. The ending was originally M talking to the new 007. Come along, 007. We got work to do. That was the original ending, right? And you can see how they changed it, right?
We got to steal Blaufeld's Thetans. That's
but I think, the movie basically does exactly what Spectre tried to do and failed. This is a do-over for Spectre in that it ends out the Daniel Craig Bond, which is its own bubble. I think if somebody wants to follow the trends, they should go for fun. Anybody working on fun right now will do well in a couple of years, right? If they have like a Tom Hiddleston James Bond, who's very charming, right? And don't go for a black James Bond because here's why people want a black James Bond, because they want to believe black people can be action heroes. If you can't believe that, you're already a racist. Okay, it's so stupid. It's beyond belief. Yes. Obviously, black people can be action heroes. It's harder for like a black man to play the Queen of England, for example, because she's an old white woman. Oh my God! It's like endemic to the character of James Bond is he comes from English aristocracy, and he's very damaged because he's lost his parents, and that damage has been redirected to work as an assassin for the. But if you're from the English aristocracy, which he is, then you have to be white. I'm sorry. There are many black people in the gentry, in the upper classes, right? The Nigerians got very wealthy. They bought their way in. They ride the right horses. They're welcome to, but they're not old England, right? They're not. They're just not old. Same thing with the oligarchs. If you want to be part of the English aristocracy, all it takes is money. Buy the right house, go to the right schools, and learn how to ride, right? Read Tatler magazine, and that's what you need to do. and it really is. That's it. It's really far more egalitarian than you would possibly imagine. It's all about money. That's all it is. However,
that's true.
So the consensus is we should watch it though for what it is and enjoy it.
I watch it. I watch whatever. I watch anything for what it is. Like I'm watching Foundation right now, which has a young black girl character who's brilliant at everything. Squeezed is the main character, right? And when you look back in the future, from the future, this era, it's got that kind of like tokenized use of black people or any type of person, right? It's gonna feel the same way that we're looking at something from the 70s, somebody wearing bell bottoms and platforms. It's just a fad, and it's kind of a racist one, in my opinion.
I just meant the new Bond flick. You know what I mean? So we should just enjoy it for being a Bond flick. And we got a Bond flick. You know? What I mean?
No, you can't because it's so tight. It's a direct sequel to Spectre, right?
Okay. Right on.
It basically starts off. How well do you know James Bond?
I've seen all the old stuff. Haven't really watched too much of the new stuff because I was kind of.
So fine. So I've seen everything. Right? I really like Bond. I'm really
for sure.
So it starts off with a riff, I would say, on the end of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Like on the end of Majesty's Secret Service, he drives off with Diana Rigg And he's like, and they actually say the line, "We've got all the time in the world," right? They say, they have that whole thing going on there, and they lean in a lot into Bond traditions in this. Like you have the evil base, the Badman's base. You have the world destroying plot. You have the tuxedo. You have Felix Leiter. You have all the Bond riffs on it. Again, it's half an hour too long. It's half an hour too long. Gotcha. They re-edited it like hell. Thank God, right? Thank God. But and yeah, there's a lot of good to it, but it was so intended to be a woke movie. Right? It's so intended.
Just on a ranking, I mean, to me, Diamonds Are Forever is the worst Bond movie. That just
let me think. Okay, fine. No, what's that? I've got to pull up a list of James Bond movies. Okay,
does it rank
I hope you don't mind staying longer. But
no, I'm good.
This deserves investigation. James Bond movies.
We went to the theater last night, and we didn't catch Bond. We caught Venom. So,
I want to see that. I want to see that.
I'm a little bit of a fan. Just a smidge, you know. I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great film. So
okay, I got to check and see. But here, going to the cinema, that's the other thing. It was so depressing. It's going into the cinema in the post-apocalyptic remains of cinema. Right. I went. The mall was deserted. All the stalls are closed. Right. There was a 600-seat theater, 8 people in there on a Friday. It should have throngs of people.
Absolutely.
For James Bond, and it just didn't. Here, one second. Let's have. Okay, so Diamonds Are Forever is the worst one. You won't say. Diamonds Are Forever is worse than Doctor No. It's certainly worse than For Russia Love. That's one of my favorites. I love that one. It's worse than Goldfinger. It's worse than Thunderball. It's worse than You Live Twice. Yeah. It's worse than On Imagined Secret Service. You're doing good so far. It's way worse than Live and Let Die. It's worse than Man with a Golden Gun. And way worse than Spy Love Me. Love Spy Love Me.
Yeah, me too. That's
a great one. Worse than Moonraker. Is it worse than worse than For Your Eyes Only? Is it worse than Octopussy? That's pretty bad. Okay, Octopussy has the all-female Indian acrobatic troupe to take down the evil man's lair at the end. It's really bad. Okay, I would say Octopussy and Diamonds Are Forever. Maybe I would say for me, I put Octopussy below Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh,
but I think Octopus is it's fun, but it's so cringe, and he's so old by then.
Never Say Never Again. He's even I think that's the oldest they've ever had somebody cast as James Bond.
That's better than Diamonds Are Forever, though. Okay, better than Diamonds Are Forever.
I like Never Say Never Again, actually.
Octopussy made more money than Never Say Never. I don't remember that.
I think the name was one thing that pulled a lot of people to that film, though. You know what I mean? There were people that weren't even Bond fans that were like,
okay, the only good bit about Octopussy was the beginning with the guy in a clown makeup saying, that was that one. It's a bomb or whatever, and the agent gets killed. Right, and then Bond ends up in that position at the end. I remember that. That's the only good thing about that, right? I recall. I don't even think they had good. You had the bad guy with the razor thing, getting people from the height. Octopussy was for me. I think it's worse than Diamonds Are Forever. I would rather watch Diamonds Are Forever than Octopussy. Yeah, okay, with that thought. Okay, fine. We may differ on that, right? A View to a Kill. That's got Grace Jones and Christopher Walken as the bad guys. And also he's got Patrick Macnee in it, right? So if you watch that, imagining that Patrick Macnee and Roger Moore aren't in fact spies, but are in fact a couple of deranged elderly English gentlemen who think they're spies, it's a much better movie. It's a way better movie. There's one bit in it where he goes to bed with Grace Jones and you feel scared for him. You're like, oh, is he going to make it out of that? He's an old man. Don't do that to him. Okay, so Living Daylights is better than Diamonds Are Forever, as is License to Kill, as is GoldenEye. Freaking love GoldenEye, as is Tomorrow Never Dies, as is World Enough. Die Another Day, it's on the level of Diamonds Are Forever. Casino Royale, loved it. Quantum of Solace.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting into the ones I haven't seen now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Casino Royale's awesome, right? freaking awesome. It reinvents Bond in a way that's, I think, is very true to Bond. And I just in the movie terms, it's fantastic. Quantum of Solace is shit. Unfortunately, it's a direct sequel to Casino Royale. Doesn't really work in many ways. It got a weak villain. I don't think I could sit through that again. Skyfall is brilliant. It deconstructs Bond in a way that I like things deconstructed. It should happen. No problem. It should happen rarely. And when it happened, then it was more of an oddity, right? So it was interesting then, and it brought Bond back to who he really was. I like that a lot. Then Spectre was supposed to be the ultimate Bond movie. Boring as hell, right?
Oh,
Boring
no.
as hell. This one has all the tropes in it. It has, like, again, tuxedo, supervillain bases. There's a connection they set up between his love interest in it and the villain. They could have cut that out, and it would have been a much better movie, and they would have saved half hour there, right? That really bogged. There's too many things going on. It really bogged it down, and that's how you can tell this is a movie that's been cut together from something it wasn't intended to be, right? And I wish I could tell you the spoiler, but there's no way. Okay, it'll be awful if anybody spoils this for you. There is something in it that some may find surprising. It feels tacked on, but like it was. I understand the idea. It doesn't bother me. All right, but I can't say more than that. So yeah, that's my quick take on No Time to Die. Any other questions, gentlemen?
No, sir.
So it's pretty much okay. It's ranks.
It's better than Quantum of Solace and Spectre. Not as good as Casino Royale and Skyfall. It's a direct. Honestly, it's a direct sequel. If you really want to enjoy it, I would make yourself a watch list of Casino Royale. Forget Quantum of Solace. You don't need to watch that. Skyfall. You should watch. If you watch Spectre, you'll understand this much better. There's a lot of connection with it. That's what I suggest. Yeah, but it's not woke. It's not awful, right? It's not woke. It's not awful. That's the best I can tell you. I think that is a fair description. Fine. With that, I'm putting my campaign in the chat. I put your campaigns in the chat. I do apologize, you chub, mate. First I should have said chub instead of whatever your name is.
It's all right. I'm avoiding being called Carl because it's Carl O'Roe. Everybody thinks because the UK includes Ireland in some people's minds, and we're on the same part of the planet. So.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay, whatever. And also, I didn't add the S at the end of beef. I said a beef head on the thumbnail. I had a busy day on Friday. What can I tell you? I didn't have time to fix it. I got out 2 videos, went to a funeral, and saw James Bond, and then I still got home by 6. Doing pretty good, mate. Doing pretty good.
Right on.
Fine. With that, can I bid everybody adieu? Can I say everybody go back these 2 campaigns? They are both fantastic. Listen, I'm not going to guarantee you an incredible amount of sexual prowess, right? That your penis may actually grow 8 or 9 inches overnight if you back any of these campaigns, especially mine. I'm not going to guarantee you that. People have said they are such blessed, okay? Results may vary. Give it a try. If it works, let us all know. Okay, let us all know. I've hit the end broadcast.